Hello, folks. Today's edition of Ask Adam Anything is a question that came from a podcast I did with Jane Hilsden. And it was this episode on the How to Do Marketing show. We talked about juicy email marketing tips, and it was a whole lot of fun. Jane's a fantastic marketer, fantastic part of this community as well. And the question that came from one of her listeners was this. So, hey Adam, hope you're well. I had a question in my How to Do Marketing group from one of my podcast listeners who loved your app. She wanted to know, I would have loved to have asked Adam Franklin, if you are sending emails once a week or more, how often is it recommended you include a promotion, e.g. an invite for a free call or introduce a new product or service? Great question. So there's a few things here. Let me just remove that. Look, it's always important to be guiding people to the next step. So I always like to have a call to action on virtually all of my emails. There's very few cases where I wouldn't. The only times when I wouldn't is if I wouldn't have a promotion if it was just like a really friendly, sometimes I put a brain teaser or a riddle on an email, like often on a weekend, just to have a bit of friendly back and forth with readers. That in itself is a call to action, but it's not a promotion. But let's talk about normal, regular emails. And if you're doing it once or twice or even more a week, the first thing that I would do is I would have a email signature that includes a PS where you can guide people to the next step if they're ready. So for example, on this one here, this is my stock standard one that goes at the bottom of each of my Blue Wire News emails. And it says PS, it's after my name. PS, when you're ready, here are 5 ways I can help you grow. The first one is for people who are pretty new or pretty cold, I guess, on my email list. Maybe they've been forwarded the email by a friend, but I give them the first option, which is to download the Web Strategy Planning template. And what we want to do here is kind of you don't have to do 5, you could do 1, you could do 2, you could do 3. The reason I include a few options is because I like to have an offer for cold people, warm people, and hot to trot people. So the first offer is for quite cold people who are just getting to know us, just getting to know some of our material. Offer number 2 is read a chapter from our book. So they can click on that and download the chapter from our book. Again, they're getting a little bit warmer. They're willing to invest, 15, 20 minutes to read a chapter from our book. The third call to action, and these aren't really promotions yet, but it's just options for people to take a next step. Option 3 is to join the Facebook group, which is where you're watching this. Option 4 is to invest a bit more time and watch my LinkedIn for Consultants crash course. So it's a 17-minute pre-recorded webinar. And option 5 is to work directly with me, so to book in a growth session. And that's a link where they fill out a few questions and book a time in my calendar to talk. So that's how I do it as a default. There's always an option there for people to take the next step. Now, you may have other types of promotions, as I do too, and you may be wondering, well, how often do I do these? So if it's a very specific call to action to either book a call or to get people to respond to it, by expressing interest in maybe working with you or to introduce a new product or service, I call these shake the tree emails. And I like to do these every 4 to 5 weeks as a general rule. An example of this is sometimes, let's just move that away there, we can see it there. Sometimes I do very short 1 or 2 line emails. This is an example. I have 5 positions available in my 90-day LinkedIn Launchpad program. I'm looking for committed consultants to work with one-on-one. Does this appeal? Adam. Very short, very simple. It's designed to get people to respond, and then I can engage them in a conversation to see if what we're working on would be useful to them. it would eventually guide people to a telephone conversation if we both felt it was worth exploring. But this could quite easily be a product or a service that you're introducing or that you wanted to bring to the attention of your subscribers. So I like to do these types of emails, once every 4 to 5 weeks, depending on. I like to do a lot of the selling, so to speak, back and forth via email. Sometimes if they're a really good fit for my sort of high-end coaching, that's where I'll guide them to. If they're more of a better fit for my online courses, then I'll guide them to that option as well. So there you go. I do clear call to action emails every 4 to 5 weeks. And on my normal, regular Blue Wire news, I just include a signature with a PS, much like that. So I hope that helps. If you want to go and check out the show that Jane Hilsden and I did, it's the How to Do Marketing show, juicy email marketing tips. I'll put the link in the comments. And if you've got any other questions for me, please just leave them somewhere in the Facebook group or private message me via Messenger, and I will record a short little answer to your question. Hope that helps. It's lovely to be back on these Facebook Lives. As many of you know, I had my wedding and honeymoon, so I've been a little bit quieter on here, but it's good to be back, and I look forward to answering more questions. See you on the next one.